Hi, this is Scott with Specter Gear, and for today's video we're out at the range testing a new sling design. The sling that you see before you attached to this really nice carbine is our new FFS sling. That's Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Sierra. Now what the acronym means, and I'll get that out of the way right away, is the location we're at is Gallardo Farms, which is the range facility that we use out here in Porterville, California. And they call it the farm because what they do out here is they farm freedom. And they plant freedom seeds in that berm right down range that you'll see in a couple of minutes. And the person that actually worked with us on this design was a police officer with Porterville PD named Jesus Gallardo. And he's, of course, the guy that owns this facility out here. And one of the things that we had provided him with a couple of slings in the past, and we actually did some variations on our Raider sling for him. And with each iteration, this thing started to kind of coalesce and gel up. The last and final iteration is what you see before you here. And this is a sling that is 1 inch from stem to stern. And it's 1 inch wide, and it's 1 inch wide for a very important reason. Now, a lot of the slings that we build, we focus a lot on using main strap webbing, the portion that goes over your shoulder, either 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches wide. And we stress the 1.5 inch wide ones because on basically a bare unpadded shoulder where you're just shooting over the top of a shirt, having that extra width on the main strap is helpful because it helps distribute the weight and distribute the load. But one very important consideration is if you're using a sling like this and you're wearing either a plate carrier or a tactical vest or some kind of load-bearing vest, you've already got a couple of things going for you. You probably have padded shoulder straps, so you already have a comfort barrier between your body and the areas where the sling would cross your shoulder. But another concern would be routing the sling webbing through all of the stuff that's on your carrier. So if you've got a camelback on the back side of the carrier, you got mag pouches on the front, you might have radio pouches, med kits, all of the stuff that's all over your carrier, your sling needs to be able to route through that. And when you're talking an 1.5 inch sling, number one, you don't need that extra width for load distribution. But furthermore, you need something that's a little narrower so that it can weave in and out and through all of those pouches and gear that's attached to the carrier. So we've decided to focus with this sling on, rather than the sling being its primary beneficial role being width for load distribution, rather the intent of the sling is retention and the ability to route through all of those complicated pouches that are on your carrier. So the rest of well, actually, we made a couple of other important departures that I'll go over. So let me talk about the general features of the sling. So I already mentioned 1 inch wide webbing. The webbing that we chose is the Powell's webbing, or pocket attachment ladder system webbing. I won't bore you with the mill standard number for it, but this is the same webbing that's used on load-bearing rigs for molly pouch attachment. It's thin, it's lightweight, but it's very, very durable. And it's kind of perfect for this application. So an additional feature that you get off of this is you get some weight savings on the sling. So again, 1 inch wide on the main strap. The front adjuster is similar to what you see on either our Raptor or our Raider slings or our Recon slings. All the same, we have our front adjustment paddle, and we have full range of adjustment so that you can, on the fly, you can either snug the gun up tight to the body or expand the sling so that you can get a little more slack on the sling for challenging shooting positions. But I think the biggest departure between this and all of our other slings is this features, in addition to being 1 inch wide, all metal hardware. So your loop in the center is metal, your tri-glides are metal, and of course we attach at each end with QDs. Now we have two versions of this. It's going to be a universal application sling at this point. We may bring out some versions with adapters later, but currently all we're offering is a universal version, and it will have either the QD swivels at the front and the rear, or we will have webbing attachments. So at the rear it would look a little bit different with the webbing attachment. Otherwise the function would be exactly the same. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's lightweight, durable, very heavy duty with the steel hardware, and narrow enough to be able to snake through all those pouches on your carriers and still retain the weapon comfortably on your body. But as I found with range testing this, it's also not half bad just without anything on at all. It's not as uncomfortable as I anticipated it would be. So I'm going to, at this point, go ahead and go out onto the range, sling up, pop a couple rounds off, kind of show you what the sling looks like in action, and then that'll be kind of it. So we'll go ahead and break at this point, and I'll go ahead and cut and go to the range portion of the video. Okay, we're up on the line with the new FFS sling. As I mentioned in the tabletop demo, that I was about the only concern I had with the 1-inch wide webbing would be its comfort without any kind of armor on or any kind of shoulder pads. But I can tell you this is about as comfortable as any other 1.25-inch sling that I've tried. It's not really excessively biting into my neck. I would say that if it were a heavier gun, something like an M1A or an FNFAL, it might start getting into your neck a little bit. But for a lightweight carbine such as this, nice and comfortable. So, and in terms of the rest of the layout, functions exactly the same as any of our other 2-point slings. So without further ado, let me pop a couple rounds off with it and sort of get a feel for it. So here we go. All right, so that's the FFS sling. Not only do I like the gun, loving the carbine as well. So with that, I'll bring it to a close. Thank you for watching or listening. This is Scott with Specter Gear. Have a wonderful day.